let's talk about how to alter a form, like this L-shaped form, for example, how to alter it so that a form can slide inside of it. And you see, there are so many possibilities when you cut your forms open and attach another form to it. Two forms together. So something was removed, like this, all the way around. I left the tabs in here because the tabs create some friction. The tabs actually help this hold in place. And when you're putting the two together, it should be kind of hard to connect. You want it to fit tightly so that it doesn't fall out. You might have to glue it. I mean, when you look, you see my pencil lines everywhere. Those pencil lines should be on the inside on your final form, but you want to make sure there are no gaps. If it doesn't fit correctly, the tabs are in here. If you look inside, you can see the tabs. If it doesn't fit correctly, you can possibly just push the tab out, push the tab down, glue it to the inner form to get it to stick. So let's talk about how to make a form like this. I'm going to take an L-shaped form. This one's so cool. I'm going to put it away though. I'm going to take this L-shaped form and then I'm going to borrow this 1 inch here. It should be tough like this. Tough to pop off. I'm going to take this 1 inch rectangular piece here. And if you could imagine this piece as butter, I keep using this example. Imagine this as a block of butter and this as something hot, hot piece of metal, hot knife going to the butter. It's going to go right into the butter and melt a hole. And so when you pull this away, when you pull the knife away from the butter, there'd be a gap there. Part of it would be missing, like this. And that gap affects 3 sides. It's going to affect 3 sides of the form. So how do we do this? Well, we need to understand what the dimensions are of whatever the form is. Whatever form you're gonna push into the L shape. How high is it here? It's 1 inch. So I know that the hole that I cut out is going to have to be 1 inch high. So there's my 1 inch high line. And then how far do I want it to push in? If I push it in 1 inch, then it's just going to end up being flush on the edge. If I push the form in a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, I end up with a different look. So this one has a 1/4 inch here. So most of it hangs out on the edge. This one is a 1/2 inch here. So half of it hangs out over here. Half of it goes inside. Let's make one that goes in 3/4 inch. So you can just write it down as your reminder. I want it to go up 1 inch and in 3/4 inch. And these aren't my exact measurements. I'm going to draw a line across here, and the same thing's going to go over here. I'm going to use a ruler and a triangle to get the exact measurements, but this gives me an idea of where to put it. And you can put this anywhere. You can put this on any corner or any of the sides. In this demo, I'm going to put it on the spine because it's easier to see when I open this form up. It's easier to understand what it looks like. There we go. So here's what it looks like. So now I need to make this a little more accurate. So it needs to be 1 inch high. And the shape that I draw here needs to be parallel with this bottom line. So I can use my ruler, my triangle, and a sharp pencil. I already sharpened it. So I could start in the middle here on the spine and just using, as long as my ruler is flush with the fold, when I put my triangle down, and draw a line. I should have a 90-degree angle. My line should be parallel with this line here. And then again up here. So now I have a 1-inch area. I can erase this. This is going to fit right in there. See that? It'll fit in there. I need to extend it out 3/4 of an inch on either side and then continue my lines up. So I'm going to do that with the triangle at 3/4 of an inch. I'll pull the line up. Don't let it slide around. And again at 3/4 of an inch over here. And I can connect my lines. On the top and the bottom. And now I have the shape that I need. Right there. This is the shape I'm going to need for this to slide right in. 3/4 of an inch. Instead of just removing that rectangle completely, I'm going to leave tabs. So if I draw lines in like this from all 4 corners, lines like that, and then connect them here. I don't use a ruler. You don't need a ruler for this. Your tabs are on the inside, about 1/4 of an inch. There you go. This will be removed, but the rest stays for tabs. And I'm just going to cut it by hand. I'll use a ruler to actually fold the opening over here. Got it. Now we just need to fold these. And it's important that you're accurate with this. That you really truly fold on the pencil line. Push against the ruler all the way over. And we can fold them inside. When you're working on your final, you'll draft all of this on the inside. I'm just doing it on the outside so that it's easier to see. And then something happens because we've already folded that tab. The wall doesn't really want to fold. We have to cut teeth right at the folds, like this. I call this monster mouth. We just need a couple of eyes. Monster mouth. When we tape this back together, that form's going to fit right in the gap. I taped it together. Now let's see if it fits. Sometimes you have to just tuck the tab in, and that's good. That's what we want. Monster mouth connection. Here's something else. So it goes in about 1/2 inch here, And then over here, it tilts down further. And it's actually, it tilts down too far for a form that's only 1 inch high, because I can see the tab here. But just to give you an idea of how to set something in at an angle, I've still got the same shape, but it's lower on one end. This connection's different. Can you see? It's on the corner. Here's what it looks like inside. It attaches on the corner. Or you could put a form inside the mouth, like this as well. And this one looks a little different. It only uses the corners. It's basically this 2 times, minus that. See, here and here. So the form looks a little different when you open it up. That's what it looks like. Whatever you do on this side, you do on the other side. Just make sure it's symmetrical. This one has an angle cut out of it. It's the same technique. So a triangular form could fit in there, and any form with a 90-degree angle could also fit in there, just because this angle happens to be 90 degrees. Because the opening flares out, it's not going to lock a form in, so you actually have to glue this one using the tabs. You glue it in place. There's also this here. See how it used to be part of the wall? And then I just cut it and pushed it in. I didn't even have to cut it. I could have, I sliced the bottom free, and then I could have just pushed the fold in the opposite direction. And I really loved that idea, so I did it again here. I tried to measure out same distance, 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch up. Then I spaced it, and then after I saw that, I thought, what if I put something in there? So I cut this cylinder to fit in there. And I really liked that look. Cylinder inside. I loved that look. And one more thing about this form. And other triangles could fit in there as well. If you they're not going to fit into this angle, because this angle is too wide for this triangle. But if you just use, so I've got a triangle here, if I want to use this point, if you use that triangle, right, because that's determining the point here, the edge, if you take the top piece here and lay it on here and trace it like this, just trace the angle and then continue down as I did, like here and here, trace the same angle again on this side, then you'll be able to fit a different triangle in there. Different shapes. Doesn't have to just be a square shape. The last thing I wanted to show you was this concave. I hope you'll be more creative with the shapes that you work with concave. This is just a pyramid, really basic form. So there's concave, and you would have tabs all the way around it. I'm just using tape. It was just a test piece, so I didn't even consider making tabs. Maybe it sticks on the top. I actually liked this better, coming out from an opening, cutting the hole, and then sticking the form through it, and using tabs on the inside to glue it in place so I don't have any strange gaps like you see there. And your form could be triangular, and you have to think about the tabs too. So this pyramid has a tab. This pyramid has a tab right there covered in tape. Because I'm going to leave it this way, I made sure the tab was in the other direction so you couldn't see it. And a form like this could also work. You just have to cut this shape as the hole and stick an open triangle like that inside. Also works for the trapezoid, any form really.